join me on YouTube. I'm going to be doing a lot more YouTube lives. Hi, everyone. And you're not going to know I'm going live because I don't typically go live on YouTube. So if you're here right now, head over to my YouTube channel and join us. I have so much to share. And I don't know, I got this after going through hell and back. I have a different frequency I want to share with you right now. So head over to YouTube and join us. Hi, everyone on YouTube. Hello, hello, hello. I'm really excited to be doing a random live. I will explain what quotient means 100%. It's an absolute knowingness and awareness that you have. It will be saved. Head over to YouTube and I'll answer your questions. Why can't you do both at once? I guess I can. I'll do both. It's a good question. Why can't I do both at once? I'll do both. That's really funny. Mind blown. Why can't I do both at once? I can do both at once. Miley, I feel like $1 million. All your medicine has healed me in so many ways. I'm on Instagram and YouTube. Why not? Thank you, Sister Moon Tarot. I have been navigating some really intense energies, and it's always for me personally about who am I and who am I here to be on this planet. For you, it could be something else. It may be relationships, it may be physical stuff, it may be narcissistic people in your life, it may be, trauma from your past. I don't know what it is for you, but there always seems to be a theme. And today I want to talk about I want to go back to I want to bring you back to a really deep remembrance of your light quotient. Maybe it's quotient. Maybe it's quotient. I'm saying quotient. So say it however you want. Hi. Go to the YouTube live. I'm going to get off of this in a second. I'm going to get off of Instagram in a second. So get to YouTube live. Our light quotient, it's extremely, extremely important to understand your light quotient and how you are held in the physical body. Because as more and more of humanity awakens, which is what is happening, and awakening is simply remembering who we are as light or soul in body. The more that we do this in the next coming years, the more we are going to be challenged with the deep, deep programming of this matrix. And so on one level, you can say, oh, it's going to get easier and easier on this planet. And on another level, you can say it's going to get more and more challenging. Torsten, thank you so much for that super chat. It's going to become more and more of a battle, an energetic battle. And today's topic, I'm going to be teaching more and more of these topics from my book, but today's topic is your light quotient and how to remember your light quotient as you navigate your awakening. Okay. So lots of people will say, oh, I'm a light worker. I'm a starseed. I'm a light warrior. I'm a whatever. And those are all beautiful. It's all labels. It's all beautiful. But at the end of the day, you are a soul, which is a spirit, which is God. And here's how you got into the physical form. Okay. And the reason this is so important is because you are activating the embodiment of your soul more and more. And if you are going through hell, if you are suffering, if you are struggling, if you want off this planet, it is extremely important that you strap your seatbelt in right now and you try to remember this knowingness. Because I cannot tell you how many people, including myself, have reached out to me in the last couple of weeks and been in really dire straits, very, very depressed, suicidal, scared, um, out of control. And it is because the entire planet is being shaken awake. So let's go back for a moment to who you are and how you got onto this planet in a physical form. I have always said, and it came as a download in my book, The Divine Design, that Earth is an experiment, and Earth was created to go through an experiment. And everything that you see and feel and experience on this planet, around this planet, in any storyline, any of it is all part of the experiment, which is going from one dimensional field to another dimensional field in a physical form. And I was listening to Anna, grandmother of Jesus, yesterday on audio, and she said something that really rattled me because I've never heard anybody else talk about how the earth was literally designed and created for her own experiment. And Anna, grandmother of Jesus, said that she was part of the celestial team that created the physical planet, Earth. And if you understand what she was saying, she was talking about the inception of this experiment and what we are doing here on this planet and what this planet is doing. And that as difficult as this can be to kind of hold, everything that is experienced, including off planet and any other uh, galactic space, any other planet, it has all been designed as part of this experiment. And it's all held in a 12th dimensional grid. So let's get back to your light quotient and how you got into the physical body. So the physical body, hi, you guys. I'm on YouTube, so join me on YouTube if you want. The physical body was designed by higher dimensional beings in order to experience this planetary shift. The physical body is not some sort of mixture of all these different DNAs from different alien species. That's doing a disservice from the absolute miraculous creation of this human vessel. It was divinely designed to hold consciousness, to hold your light. So to say that we are some sort of hybrid species is an absolute disservice. This physical form that your consciousness is in is an absolute miracle. And when it was created for the sole purpose of being able to hold a consciousness in it, a light, a soul, a spirit in it, which is mind-blowing. It was doing so for the sole purpose of being able to experience a physical reality that is shifting dimensional fields. So the physical reality, meaning the physical planet. Okay. Now, in order to have a consciousness, which is frequency, which is light, move into a dense physical form, there has to be a very delicate balance of that light moving into the density of the physical form. So, if you remember how physics works, how energy works, how light works, okay, you can't put too much light into a density, it will short circuit. It's just like when you plug a light into a wall, it has to be grounded in. That's what electricians do. They ground the electrical socket into the ground to anchor the light, right? And if there's too much frequency, like you go over to Europe and if you don't have the right voltage, you will blow the circuit. Okay? It's the same thing with the human body. If you put too much light into the physical form, it will short circuit the body. So the organs will not work. The body will not be able to function. And so there is a certain amount of light quotient, which is your soul, that was able to move into the physical body. And it is this light quotient that you are activating yourself into right now, that you are embodying, that you are embracing, that you are remembering, that you are becoming in the physical form. So here's how I want you to see this. Source, God, whatever you want to call it, okay? It doesn't matter. It's the pulse of everything. It's the everything that ever is, was, and will be. It's the oneness of all, okay? And how you want to see that and experience that and label that is up to you. But you and I and everything that is experiencing itself right now is a unique expression of that one spark, of that God essence or source or whatever you want to call it. We are unique expressions, which means that we've individuated ourselves from God or source. We are a unique individuated expression of this light. Okay. And you can call this unique individual expression spirit. You can call it consciousness. You can call it God. Whatever you want to call it, but it is a unique individuated expression. It's giving you the ability to experience yourself outside of this one universal, not even universal, that is doesn't quite describe oneness, but it's the everything that ever is, was, and will be. I'm going to call this spirit. Okay. This unique individual expression, spirit, is in a quantum field floating around, and it's a massive vibrational pulse. It's brighter than anything you could imagine. Right? It would blow the circuits off of everything. It would burn us alive. It's so bright. And when Earth decided to have her experiment of moving from one dimensional field to another, so starting as a fifth dimensional field, moving to seventh, and then moving down into the third, going to a fifth. So currently, right now in 2024, we are moving from a third dimensional field to a fifth dimensional field, moving through the fourth dimensional field energetically, frequency wise, in a physical form. So the physical body was designed and created to be able to stand in density and hold a consciousness, hold a light inside of it. And so it sent out a call, Earth sent out a call and said, yo, who wants to participate energetically? And all these consciousnesses, you and I, chose as this spirit to incarnate into the human body. Now, when these higher dimensional beings were creating the physical form, they had to figure out how much light the body would be able to hold. And I want you, if you're questioning what I'm saying, I want you to just think of the physics of light and how even in this physical reality, you can blow circuits if there's too much light that goes through that circuit. And so these higher dimensional beings that created this physical form, that created this physical planet, had to figure out how much light could come into the body and remain in the body, which is your soul. And based on the frequency of the planet and based on the frequency of the body, that's going to dictate the percentage of light. I'll tell you why this is so important in a second. So I'm just going to speak currently. Okay. Most of us are holding anywhere between 7% and 16% of our light. If you are being born right now or in the last 10 years, you're holding, thank you, Tanya, for that super chat. You're holding more light quotient than ever before. So all of the children that are being born right now are having a much more difficult time and also are much more awakened than us in our 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s because they are holding more of their light quotient. They have more light in their body. It's much more difficult to be in the body, but they also have a deeper remembrance because there's more of their light. All right. And so what is happening to the light quotient, by the way, is your soul. We call it a soul. A soul is very different from spirit, but it's the same. A soul is a percentage of spirit. It's an aspect of spirit. And spirit is an aspect of this God or source. So it's all connected, right? You have this God source, you have spirit, you have soul. And you're in this physical form, this dense, heavy, exhausting, miraculous physical form, and your soul right now is held inside this physical body. And the light quotient that you hold, which is connecting you to spirit, which is connecting you to God or source, is activating. So you're remembering who you are. You see, you are not personality. You are not the name. You're not the labels or the thoughts or the emotions. Truly. You are a soul. And you're held inside this physical vessel. And this physical vessel is standing on a planetary body that is in a third dimensional matrix. And this third dimensional matrix is designed to shift into a fifth dimensional matrix. And it is the physical vessel that is shifting. And the light quotient that you are remains the same, but your awareness is beginning to shift. Your awareness is shifting from external to internal more and more and more. And it can feel torturous because you are literally breaking shackles off of you that the external world, the world around you has placed on you, which is your name is ... You are a ... You have to show up like ... If you are a mom, you do ... If you are a professor, you do ... If you live in this country, you do ... If you want to be successful, you do ... If you want to be loved, you do ... If you want to be liked, you do ... If you want to be seen, you do ... All of it is the program. All of it is this robotic, conditioned way of being. And none of it is soul. None of it is actually you. And so what is happening right now is there is a constant burning. There is a fire you are standing in, perhaps, which is burning off the illusions of every way in which you have been programmed to be on this planet. and it hurts. It burns. It's uncomfortable. You can't get out of it because you are designed to burn through it. And so what that means, and where so many of us are right now, it's like there has been this shift up, and the light quotient within you, the soul within you that purposely came in, this divine design of a percentage of light that came into your physical body, that is held in your physical body, is what you are reuniting yourself with. And what it's going to look like in your physical reality right now is you bumping up against every thought, every emotion, every behavior, every relationship that is convincing you that you are it. So if you're in a relationship right now that isn't working, right, and it doesn't feel right, it doesn't resonate any longer, but you're afraid to be alone, what you are bumping up against is the fear of being alone. And so you are actually burning the fear of being alone. And so you are being asked by soul to recognize that you have never been alone. There is no such thing as being alone. Let's say this isn't about healing any longer, my friends. This isn't about going back to all the trauma. This is about being soul, being the light quotient that you are, that is in your body. And you can argue and say, well, no, Lori, we're this in this human experience. And I would continue to say, no, 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 we are awakening into soul, which means that you have to break free from every single pattern, program, and way in which this world has convinced you of how to be, which is extremely difficult right now in the world of social media, stimulation, distraction, everything that is pulling you out of being the unique expression of light that you are. Think of how this world is working now. Everything is pulling you out of your unique expression. It's making you question more and more and more. This is the kind of quote unquote spiritual battle. There is a unique expression within every single human body that is designed to accentuate, to express through the human vessel as the character. So your character doesn't go away. The Jennifer, the Monica, the Sam, the Gunner. That role, that character doesn't go anywhere. You're just learning now how to express this, to accentuate the quotient of light, which is your soul, through this character. Which means that you are learning right now how to break out of all of the ways that you have seen yourself. So let's say another example could be, and it's not about any longer perpetuating the cycle of healing, because your soul knows that you're none of that. So it doesn't see it in terms of healing anymore. It doesn't, when you start embodying and integrating your soul more and more, you don't see what you're experiencing through the lens of fixing yourself or healing. You see it through the lens of literally burning the illusion. And burning the illusion is very different because there's nothing wrong with you, the character. Another example is lack. It's a big piece of being afraid of not having enough, afraid of not having enough money, afraid of being homeless, afraid of not being able to survive, afraid of losing everything. That fear may get louder and louder, just like the fear of being alone may get louder and louder. The fear of getting more and more sick may get louder and louder. These are almost demonic thought forms that have controlled your life. And they are repetitive because they are not, you cannot heal them. You have to burn them through your light. That's the next level of awakening that we're at. We are burning this shit down, which means you have to stand in your light in the midst of any sort of potent, powerful, insanely incestuous thoughts, behaviors, and any emotion you believe is taking over you that you want to run from. This is why, my friends, we are called warriors of light. This is why we're called the warrior of light. And this is the battle. You are becoming you. Your light quotient is you. It's your soul. And there is this most miraculous way in which this has all been designed in order for you to be you. In order for you to be able to shine through the intensity. So how do you do it, right? How do you do this? You know, you find yourself in the valley of darkness, right? You can't seem to, you don't know how to navigate it or how to get out of it. It takes you, perhaps. And those are the moments that I want you to imagine you're in battle. I don't want you to imagine that you are stuck or you are having to figure something out and fix yourself. That's very disempowering at this point. I want you to imagine that anything you are in right now, any torturous place, any state of suffering, any absolute just like, get me out of this. I cannot get through this. I cannot make it through this. I want you to try to imagine that this is your soul begging you to believe in it. That what is pulling you into that fear, what's pulling you into the insecurities, what's pulling you into wanting to get off the planet because you can't take it anymore, is that which you aren't. It's that which you are not. And so you have to stand up against it, which means you have to remember your light. You have to remember your soul. You have to remember that when you are going through this, okay, so when you're going through, when your light quotient as your soul is going through the darkness, through the valley of death, over and over again, perhaps, you're moving through it. You're moving through this. That your body is holding your soul. That your soul is getting brighter and it's going to attract everything that has been keeping you down. And it's literally a battle between the light and the dark. The dark are the deep, deep programs on this planet that have been keeping you down. And by the way, they will come out through other people in your life as well. Do not be surprised if you start to recognize that there are people in your life that are literally like these serpents, these sucking agents that are going to try to perpetuate those dark thoughts, that are going to try to pull you down, that are going to try to keep you in the dark. As unpleasant as that sounds, that is what's happening as well. And as your light gets brighter, you are going to question yourself more and more. We will see more and more people leaving the planet because they forgot who they are. And it's the intensity of that dark shadow can be overwhelming. This is a next level freaking battle that we are starting. And you're not here to coward and to leave. You're not here to quit. You're not here to succumb to it, as difficult as that is. You're here to remember what you knew before you came in, which is that you raised your hand, you squeezed a percentage of your spirit into a body that is now holding the soul, an aspect of spirit. And that soul is awakening. And it's going to rattle every layer of blanket that was on you, keeping you imprisoned. And it takes a hell of a lot of courage to remember this. It takes a heck of a lot of courage to stay embodied. It takes a heck of a lot of courage to fight against that darkness, to trust yourself, to trust what you feel, to lean on people, to be authentic, to be vulnerable. Every single human body has a light quotient in it. Every single human body has layers of illusion on top of it. Every single human body's soul is being activated right now, whether they will ever be aware of that or not. And every single human body is being given an opportunity to embody soul and peel back the layers of illusion. And it's going to look different for each person. But this is not a fucking walk in the park, excuse my language. This is no walk in the park. This is, you cannot just sit in meditation and vibrate yourself into soul. It will not work because you're trying to bypass the illusion. You can't bypass the illusion. You have to burn the illusion down with your light. You got to burn it, which means you have to stand in it. You have to stand in the illusion. You have to hear the illusion, the thoughts, and you have to confront them. And you have to say, get the fuck out of my way. Not today. And when they take you down, which perhaps they will, like they did me these last 4 days, you let them try to destroy you so that you can recognize how freaking badass you are and that you can get through it. And no matter how much they come at you, you get through it. And when you come out of that fire, you realize, holy shit, I am bright. Wow. Where's the next fire I'm going to go in? I've got this. And every single fire that you find yourself in is an opportunity for your soul to get brighter and brighter and brighter because you are burning the illusion of what this planet has told you that you are, that you have never been. And the only way that you do this is that you stand in the fires over and over and over again, because that is the only way that you actually recognize and feel your light. Otherwise, you will sit in lotus position in a high frequency, thinking that you have somehow evolved out of the illusion when the entire time you're sitting in the illusion. You got to burn it. You got to be the lion and you got to stand up to it. And that is why the perpetual looping right now for so many of us of fixing ourselves or healing ourselves is a disempowered state of being. We can keep doing it and it will work for a small period of time, but you will find yourself in the battle with the darkness, realizing, holy shit, there's nothing to heal. I've got to just shine my freaking light through it. How do I do this? No one's told me how to do this. Everyone's just taught me how to fix myself, change my thoughts, change my emotions, change my behaviors. All that's doing is perpetuating the illusion that you are these things. And your soul is saying, get the fuck out of my way. You have never been any of that. You have to stand in all of it and face it. You realize the difference here. You have to face it. The light quotient of who you are knows it's none of it, and it has to stand in every single illusion and burn it. Welcome to the next level of your awakening. Welcome to the next level of this human evolution. This is the next leveling up. And what we will see in the next couple of years is a real deep amount of suffering in the human because they have forgotten who they are and how to courageously stand in this. So please, if you are listening to this and you are going through hell, please remember what you're doing here, because you are here to help others in the coming years. You've got to go through this first. You've got to go into the valley of death. You've got to stand in it. You cannot quit. You cannot stop. So many humans need you in the coming years. Trust me, they need you. There is no pamphlet for this. There's no pamphlet that says, hey, do you remember that the human body was created by these higher dimensional light beings in order for you to be able to move a percentage of your light that you call a soul into the body so that you can move through a massive evolutionary shift in human consciousness with a planetary body that's also shifting frequencies, and you aren't going to be in control of it whatsoever, but you're going to think that you're in control of it because you've got this egoic structure around you, and you're going to activate the remembrance of who you are as soul in body while you try to navigate some very dense, heavy mind-controlled programs and patterns. And by the way, we haven't even told you about the reptilian energies that are going to come in that understand how to navigate the human mind in a way that is profoundly impactful. And so you're also going to be navigating these reptilian energies that have infiltrated the human body and the human mind, on top of the fact that you're in a polarized dimensional field that has right, wrong, good, bad, yes, no, do, don't, etc. All of you have this. All of you have this remembrance. All of you have this remembrance of a light quotient. Like, oh shit, I can only bring in a small percentage. Oh my God, I'm going to be this soul and body. It's a knowingness. Holy shit, I'm going to be going through this experiment. Wait a second. What? You all have this deep remembrance in you because it's in your cells. It's in your DNA, the light codes. It's inside of your physical body. And the human collective has never gone through this before. So I think it's extremely important. I will just say for myself, it is extremely important that the authenticity and true expression of this evolution is discussed. That the dirtiness of it, the nitty-gritty dirtiness of it is discussed, because otherwise humanity is either going to bypass it all, numb itself out, or continue to stay in the loop. And I am sure without a shadow of a doubt that where we find ourselves right now in our evolution, we will not be in a couple of years from now, right? That's the evolution. But it is an evolution, which means it is a constant shifting. And so I encourage you today because I I only speak of what I experience, and I do my damnedest to express it eloquently as I can to you. However, I do have the knowledge of what we're in. I do have that remembrance. So do you. It's the deep, deep remembrance. Um, and then there is the physical experience of what you are remembering. And that physical experience right now is the embodiment of your light quotient, which is the burning down of the programs, which means that you will start to become who you have always been, which means that a lot of things in your life may continue to shift. People, places, ways of viewing the world, all of it. When we talk about Christ consciousness, the second coming of Jesus, so to speak, it's not actually Jesus coming down. It's not actually, uh, you know, um, looking up to Jesus. It's recognizing that we are becoming who the masters were on this planet thousands of years ago. Of course we are. They were able to, quote unquote, sort of master or remember who they were in physical form. And that is really what it means when people say Christ consciousness. It's just emulating the mastery of soul and body. And that does not mean that we are bypassing the massive, polluted almost third dimensional field, right? With all its polarity and shadow. You stand in it, you don't go anywhere. You can't snap your fingers and have it disappear, but you learn how to burn through it. You got to start saying to yourself, I'm inside a physical form. You got to keep saying to yourself, get out of my way. You got to let yourself be, uh, you got to simultaneously let yourself be pummeled by the intensity of programming. It's almost like you're in a battle, okay? You're on a battlefield and you're all by yourself. You don't know where your platoon went. It's just you on the battlefield all of a sudden. And you're like, where did everyone go? Where did my team go, right? You're all by yourself and all of a sudden, the other team, the other side comes out of nowhere and there's 5 of them and you're all alone and all of a sudden it's like, oof, this isn't gonna be pretty, right? You kind of start getting beat down. And then all of a sudden something snaps in you and you're like, "Oh, hell no. I trained lifetimes for this moment. No freaking way." And you just stand up and you're like the Incredible Hulk, okay? You just start throwing the enemy off you, which is the limiting thoughts and the beliefs and the programs and the people in your life that are narcissistic and dark and trying to dim your light and tell you who you are. And No way, get off. Shake those people off. Shake those thoughts off. But first, you may have to get beat down, and you may find yourself beat down again. But that's not a bad thing. It's showing you who you are. It's showing you how strong you are. It's showing you how courageous you are. It's showing you how potent you are. How else are you going to know? You got to let these things beat you down and then you say, "Oh, wait a second. Not today, Satan. Not today." Right? And somehow, somewhere, there's a part of you, your light quotient, your soul knows you'll get up because you're designed to get up. And so, how do you compassionately, with kindness for yourself and for others, navigate that? The pummeling down and the building yourself back up. Remembering you're in a body, remembering your soul, remembering you're burning down the programs, remembering that it's going to feel like it's got you and that it's controlling you. But you stay present, my friend. You stay present. You stay in flow. You know that everything is moving. Everything is in movement. Everything is in movement. Nothing is designed to break you down completely forever. It's not. You're breaking free. You're breaking out of a prison over and over and over again. Do not beat yourself up. Try not to beat yourself up. Look at what is being shown to you. Look at what the dark is showing you, the shadow is showing you. What's it showing you? Meaning, what are the patterns? What are the thoughts? And instead of saying, I got to fix these, I got to heal this, you realize this is an energetic battle that I'm now standing in. And I got to fight. It's a whole different level right now. And if you know what I mean, you know what I mean, because it's a whole different level now. You can actually energetically feel yourself battling something. It's very different. It's like it's like your life is at stake for this, You have no choice. You're fighting. And this is not a dark thing. This is not a negative thing. This is not a bad thing. This is you being the light of who you are in a world that has deep, 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 deep programming and mind control if you haven't been around for the last 3 to 4 years. Massive mind control, manipulation, and fear to dim your light, to dim you away from your soul. Everything right now in the external world, a lot of it is going to try to pull you out of your light and your soul. And a lot's going to be shown to you. This is the beginning of the true embodiment of your light quotient, of your soul. It's alchemy. It's 100% alchemy. And alchemy doesn't happen through an egoic structure trying to do it. Alchemy is energy shifting on its own naturally. So there's an awareness that something is alchemizing, and you have to stand in that alchemization process. Hold on, buttercups. Hold on, buttercups. Hold on is right. And also, you guys, just remember. Hold on, buttercups. Just remember that you came here for this and that the world needs you. I say this a lot, but you're not doing this for you. You're doing this for humanity. And it's true. So, dear friend of mine here, Wes, he messaged me and he's going through a lot, and it's like, buddy, you got to keep going. You're not, this isn't about you. It is, but it isn't, you know, it is, but it isn't. Um, I said this a couple years ago. I said this a year ago, and I am saying it now. You're on the front lines of this evolution. You're on the front lines. And that's not meaning that you're better than, because you're not. You're just going first before 99% of humanity. And so you got to go. You got to do this in new ways. You got to be courageous. You got to remember. So if you're going through a divorce, this isn't about just the divorce. This is about you integrating more of your soul and your light quotient so that you can assist humanity. If you're going through bankruptcy, this isn't about just the bankruptcy. This is about you stepping out of limiting beliefs and lack, or whatever it is that's perpetuating your reality right now, so that you can hold your hand out to the humans behind you that are going to go through the same type of suffering or struggle. If you're going through some sort of physical illness, this isn't necessarily about the depths of that physical illness. This is about you navigating the limiting beliefs around it all, so that you can turn around and reach your hand out to the hundreds of thousands of humans that are going to find themselves in the same place as you. You will eventually recognize, and many of you already have, that holy shit, everything that I am going through is so that I can assist people around me. That's why you're going through everything you're going through, is so that you can figure it out, navigate it, begin to master it, so that you can turn around and assist the rest of humanity that's going to be going bonkers. And this isn't about learning more about disclosure and all of these things. This is about embodying and becoming the soul, your light quotient, whatever that looks like to you. That is how you change an entire planet, is that you embody soul. You embody who you are. That has a magnetic, dynamic domino effect for the entire planet. Learning about all this stuff, disclosure, this and that, alien, that's who cares? That's great. That's just stories. That's just information. It's just knowledge. It's not going to help you embody soul and be who you came here to be. It's not going to help you navigate limiting thoughts. It's not going to help you navigate mind control. It's not going to help you navigate fear. It's just more information that you're taking in. It's great. It just also can be a massive distraction. Massive distraction. So remembering your history, remembering how you came into the body, remembering that there is a light quotient. Do you have any slight memory of incarnating? Do you have any slight memory of being in the Akashic record room and them saying to you, these higher dimensional non-physical beings saying, oh, ps.com, this is how much of the percentage of your light you're taking in. You're like, holy shit, how am I going to possibly remember who I am down there if I'm only taking in 11% of my light? They're like, yeah, good luck. Cross your fingers. You're connected. You're always connected. You're like, 11% of my light? What do you mean? How am I going to remember this? The more light you bring in, the easier it is to remember who you are. Some people only brought in 6, 7, 8%. It's like, holy shit, good. That's all I can bring in? Yeah, but you're always connected. And even that amount of light is squeezed into the physical form. So after the earth was created and they started creating the human bodies, the really fascinating thing was that they had to test out the percentage of light. And so they, being the higher dimensional beings that created the planetary body and the whole experiment, the 12th dimensional grid, all the planets, all of it was created. All of it was designed. and they had to figure out how much light could actually stay in the body. So they would put in, like, 20% of the spirit, and the body would, the heart would, the organs would stop, the heart would stop, the body wouldn't function. So then they would put in a little bit less. They wanted to put in as much as they possibly can, because the more light that came into the body, the more remembrance, the more awareness. Look at the kids being born right now. It's a prime example. I'm not making this up. You tell me why there are more aware kids than ever before. Because they're bringing in more of their light. That's why. They have more of their light quotient in the body. Why? Because the body's in a higher frequency than it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, so it can hold more light. It's really that simple. Right? Wow, it's so fascinating. All these kids are these star seeds, and they're remembering all these things. And man, there's so much more ADD and ADHD and all this stuff happening. And there's more kids that can't be in their bodies and this and that. Why? Because they're bringing in more light. And the more light you bring in, the more difficult it is to be in the body, because you are much more sensitive, but you remember a lot more. It all makes sense when we start to dissect it. It's just that we like to complicate things, and we like to stay in the illusion. Everything, the programs are going to try to the systems are going to try to convince you to not remember who you are, because then you're in a disempowered state and they can control you. So the more that you're in a disempowered state, not remembering that you actually chose to come down, that there's a percentage of your light in the body, it's called a soul, and you're designed to be in that body, activating that soul remembrance, the more empowered you become, the more you break free out of the illusions and the programs. They can't control you anymore. So the whole external world is going to try to convince you of all of these complicated stories of who you are, so that you don't actually remember. And it's always simple. Everything's simple. It's always very, 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 very simple. It's just we complicate the shit out of it. We're prescribing all this medicine to kids. We're labeling all these children. We're, doing all of this disservice to these children. I mean, you could argue that it's necessary. I would argue that it's not. It's just, if we remembered what was happening, we'd be able to help these children more. We just don't remember. It's not our faults. And as the evolution continues, the body will increase in frequency, and even more light will be able to be entered into the body. So the light quotient will continue to increase. So even more awakened humans are going to come onto the planet. More and more and more. And that's how the evolution amplifies, takes off. Meaning moving from one dimensional field to the next. So the more light that is amplified and anchored in a physical form, the more light the human collective field will anchor. And the more light the human collective field anchors, the higher in dimensional field that human collective will be in. But it's an individual process. So every single individual body has to anchor their light, just like a light, you plug in a light socket. Otherwise, light's just coming through and nothing's being anchored in. So many people ask me, well, how come nobody else is awakening around me? Because it's like there's like a hole in the cup, and the light's just going through. It's not anchoring in. It has to anchor into the body. And the anchoring process is awareness. Otherwise, there's just a hole in the cup and light's just moving through, and it's not anchoring, meaning the light that's coming in from the sun, that is in a much higher frequency than what we see. And that's what's designed to increase the frequency of the body. So there's always light. There's a toroidal field in the body. I'm not speaking about the toroidal field, right? The toroidal field is that figure eight kind of energy that the body is always designed to circulate energy like this. That's why you have energy centers. The energy centers are designed to spin, and they're spinning the energy through the body. Okay. So there's always energy coming and going through the body. I'm talking about high frequency light that's coming in from the sun that is designed to increase the frequency of the human body. We have to anchor that into the body. And the way we anchor that into the body is that there is an awareness over and over again about what we are thinking, what we are feeling, what we are doing. Are we inside body? Are we outside? Are we numb? Are we fighting against demonic thoughts, etc.? Awareness, embodiment. And embodiment is anchoring light. And the more that you embody, the more you are aware, the more you anchor light. And the more you anchor light, the more you become aware and the more that you embody. And this equals chaos in your life, perhaps. This equals waves upon waves in an ocean. And then you're looking around and you're like, the fuck are they just chilling in the ocean? Like I'm literally, I'm in torrential rain, lightning, storms. Like my freaking raft has cuts and there's water in my raft. There's holes in I'm literally barely surviving. And you look over and there's people just chilling. Like they are freaking sunbathing, drinking a pina colada, literally, and eating nachos. You're like, I'm sorry. Are we on the same ocean? Like, how are you just chilling with the pina colada in your hand on the same ocean where I am literally drowning in salt water and I cannot breathe? That's the human evolution. That's awareness. That's all it is. We're in a snow globe. Shit's shifting all the time. If you're not aware of it, you're not going to feel it. Nothing wrong with that. You're just not going to feel it. It's okay. But when you start to wake up, life starts to get real interesting. And you will look around and say to yourself, dear God, can I please have that normal life? This is just a life, just a different life. You came here to awaken. You came here to walk humanity through the awakening process. And the waves are moving, my friend. And the rapids are moving. And as much as you will say, Lori, I really just want to be one of those people that's just chilling on a raft, drinking a pina colada, eating nachos. I can promise you, my friend, you don't want to be doing that because it's not why you agreed to come onto the planet. You didn't. You came onto the planet to go first through this massive evolution, which means that you are awakening out of the illusion that you are this physical reality. Let that sink in again. You are awakening out of the illusion that you are this physical reality. Now, you've probably heard that a million times. You've read books on it. You've heard people talk about it over and over and over again. It is a next level beingness when you actually start practicing that. When you actually start being pummeled into, whoa, I am not this physical reality. Which means I am not my body. I am not my thoughts. I am not the emotions. I am not the behaviors. I am not the programs. I am not the systems. Holy shit. Who am I? And you actually are living that experience of breaking free into that who am I? It's not just something you say. It's not just something you logically know. You are fighting the battle of becoming that. And on one level, it's a shit show. And on another level, it's the most miraculous thing you'll ever experience as spirit. Truly. Laugh or cry or both. Okay, any questions about light quotient before I go? No, disclosure is these things are very important. They awaken people. It's very important to be aware of what you're in. It's just once you're aware, now you gotta go in, right? It's not gonna be the thing that saves you or awakens you into your soul. That's basically what I meant. Any questions before I go? Light quotient and small strokes and minor heart attacks. It's possible that strokes can be caused by, light. Heart attacks can be caused by frequency, 100%. Listen, there the awakening process, i.e., embodying and anchoring more and more light in the body is a very, very delicate process. It has to happen slowly, because you can move into a psychotic break. People have these kundalini awakenings, or they'll do like, I knew someone that worked for me a couple years ago, and he had an ayahuasca journey, and whatever it did to him brought him into a psychotic break, and he couldn't come out of it, and he killed himself. And so these awakenings are very delicate. It's not something to mess with, right? And so we have to allow it to unravel the way it's unraveling, but we have to honor it. Like this is real. These frequencies that are entering the body, they can definitely impact the heart. They can definitely impact organs. They can definitely impact the nervous system. They can definitely impact the bloodstream. Of course, it's light coming in, right? That's why, in my experience, whatever is arising is what needs to arise. I don't need to go looking for it. I don't need to go doing plant medicine and all of that. Like, I don't need to mess with that shit. Like, my soul's going to show me what I need to see, what I need to feel, what I need to hear. And I trust that. I do not need to go and chase it or awaken it or any of that. Um, I allow whatever is in the moment to really show me. Not to say these things aren't powerful, they absolutely are. Uh, but sometimes just letting the natural rhythm of awakening happen, it can perhaps be the safest, you know? How do I know my light quotient? I don't know. I don't know my light quotient. I don't know. You may never know it. It doesn't really matter. I will say this. If you are super, super sensitive, right? People call it, I'm an empath. If you're super sensitive, you probably have a higher light quotient than others. If you are awakening right now, you probably have a little bit of a higher light quotient. Um, and if you're a kid being born right now, especially in the last 10 to 15 years, you have a much higher light quotient. Um, the first wave of us awakening, are we all embodying the same percentage of light? No. No, every body is different, right? So every body is gonna be able to, anchor more light at different times. It's sort of like what you weigh, your body weight, right? It kind of fluctuates, it comes and goes, except with with the frequency of your body, it's gonna always increase. It just depends on, your unique experience on the planet. But every human body has the potential and is designed to increase in its frequency. That's the evolution. Your book was the bomb. I've listened to it 3 times. It just flows through and your voice is coded. I feel you. Thank you, Kate. Can chemtrails perpetuate awakening? Sure. They can perpetuate they can activate the awakening because you become aware of poisoning on the planet and that, wow, something might be trying to keep me from activating my light. How to deal with constant desire to leave this planet, exhausted, penniless, happy lady. I would say compassion for yourself. I would say trying to remember. I truly, truly, truly believe that remembrance can be life changing. It doesn't take away from your experience of what you're in, but it can drastically shift the lens of how you see what you're going through. Remembrance is like almost like having a near death experience, except the near death experience is much more potent. But a remembrance is like, can I remember who I am? Can I remember what I'm doing here? Can I remember this? And maybe that remembrance is 2 seconds, maybe it's 10 seconds long, maybe it's an hour a day, maybe it's every 5 hours. But the power of remembrance can be life changing. Not that it changes your circumstance, but it has the potential to change your circumstance because it lifts the resistance to what you're in. When you remember that you are soul, that you're a light quotient in body, that you are in this body to go through an evolution, that you're going through something, that you agreed to go through this, that what's happening right now is there's a deeper embodiment. Even if you're homeless, even if you're penniless, even if you're exhausted, you're literally whatever you are in, whatever you are experiencing right now, your soul is trying to get you to step into a deeper embodied state. So it's either kicking and screaming for you to see what it is that is controlling you. And then you figuring out, you being the kind of egoic structure, you trying to find ways to soften the blow of these really intense thoughts, right? Recognizing that you're moving through something, you're not stuck. That's huge. I'm wondering if the amount of light quotient we choose before this lifetime affects the severity of our lives, such as a harder life path or more suffering. That makes sense, but no. So you could bring in like 11% of your light, right? Which is a pretty good amount, but you could still have a massive amount of trauma that you go through: sexual abuse, physical abuse, abandonment, drug abuse. So, um, in the Akashic record before you incarnate, um, you choose kind of core consciousnesses that you're going to experience, which are basically probably the 6 to 7 sort of patterns that you've been dealing with most of your life. We call those core consciousnesses. And they perpetuate throughout your life, and they're very much what you are letting go of right now. And those core consciousnesses are it's required when you come onto the planet, but some people have more of them than others. Like maybe you have 4 or 5 intense ones, maybe you just have 2. um, but your light quotient is not dependent on those types of core consciousnesses. Do you know anything about the love wave that a girl in the universe on Instagram is talking about? No. You can go through remembrance through dark nights of the soul. 100%. Dark nights of the soul are the greatest gift, even though they're the most difficult. Do ascended masters bring in more light quotient? Good question. I don't know. Jesus did. It's possible. Yeah. It's such a mind fuck trying to figure out how to walk the tightrope of being even more than ever in this world and not of it. It's huge. It's huge. Oh, that's so weird, Lars. I'm not surprised. My YouTube channel is definitely like blocked. It's like shadow banned. It's like there's no notifications going out. Like it's just real messed up. My YouTube channel is very messed up, but let's pray that it shifts. Um uh yeah, not today. What do you think about astrology as a guidance to remembering? I think it works for a lot of people. I think it's when you incarnated onto the planet, when your light came in, right? The planets were aligned a certain way. So it's definitely it can be a powerful tool for people. Um, I don't follow astrology because um, I don't like to. It feels restrictive to me. It just feels restrictive, like, "Oh, if the planets are like this at this time, then this is the best thing to do, and you should create this at this time, and you should do this at this time." I don't like, um I don't like that. It doesn't feel good to me. I like to just be in what is and just move through what is without stories around it, but it listen, billionaires use astrology to build their companies, so it definitely works for hundreds of millions of people. I just don't follow it. I don't resonate with it. Um, yeah, it feels restrictive. Like, oh my God, my moon is in this, so it means this. And that feels like I'm in a tight box. Like, no, s- I'm going to just move through what is because just moving through what is enough. I don't need to know where my moon and my sun and my Venus and like no, 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 no. Like that's the less control I have, the easier it feels to move through this. But it really helps a lot of people. Um, is it going to get easier when the sun becomes less active next year? The sun's not becoming less active next year. Whoever's telling you that, that is not true. The sun is continuing to get more and more active. That's the evolution in human consciousness. It's only going to intensify and we are getting used to it. That's how you shift into higher frequencies. So it's going to continue to intensify, which just means more and more light, more frequency. It's a blueprint of the soul, but it's just another belief system replaced. Yeah, it's definitely a blueprint of the soul, right? The soul comes in to the human body, and right as it comes in, all the planets are aligned in a certain way, and it like imprints. All right, you guys, this was fun. I'm gonna do more of these. I loved it. I went through hell the last 4 days, but I'm so happy I did because I feel so different. Um, I love Dark Nights of the Soul because then I come out feeling like a whole new woman. Um, no. So it is important to get sunlight, but that's a different type of light. So there's different types of frequency waves that come from the sun. Okay. The the vitamin D that your body needs is like literally getting in the sun. Like you need sunlight. Okay. That's a lower frequency wave that comes from the sun, light wave. Okay. And yes, it's extremely important that your body gets that light. And if you live in countries or cities, towns where you don't get that kind of sunlight, it impacts your mood. It impacts you. It 100% impacts. The light that we're talking about in terms of this evolution that's coming is into the body is a higher frequency light. So it doesn't matter if there's clouds. it's permeating beyond that, and it's moving into the body. So it doesn't matter where you live on the planet in terms of whether the now, if the sun's not out, we're not getting it in the same capacity, right? So the sun has to be kind of out, um, depending upon where you are on the planet. But if you live on a place where it's always cloudy, like Scotland, right, where it's all, or England, where it's really cloudy a lot of the year, not where the sun isn't out, but it's just cloudy a lot, gloomy. The sun's still out. So the frequency waves are still coming in, okay, to the body. It's just you're not feeling it like sunlight. It's just a different frequency wave. That's all. See you Tuesday. Yeah, we have Tuesday Untangled, which is where I'll share everything that I experienced. I forgot I was on YouTube this whole time. I mean, Instagram. Oh my gosh. Hi, Instagram. Okay. I'm going to go now. Instagram, I love you. I'm glad that you guys were able to be here. How fun. Oh my God. Pina colada. Hi. I forgot I was on Instagram. So fun. Maybe I'll do Instagram and are the reptilians blocking the sun on purpose with the chemtrails? There's a lot of things happening with the blocking the sun, 100%, but it's not the physical light from the sun. It's the higher frequency light. So 100% is happening. But we don't want to think in those terms. Like we want to realize that, like, you know, you want to pay attention to the lens you're using, because there's a lot of assistance from the higher realms. So I was told this years ago, and I haven't shared this, I don't think, very much. Just returned from Egypt. Nice. So I lived in Mount Shasta for about a year and a half, 2017 through to half of 2018. And I was like in a massive initiation and training. And one of the things I was shown was that um, the chemtrails, so there's higher dimensional beings that are assisting the planet right now. Now they can't interfere, okay, in terms of like taking the reptilians out of the off the planet, or taking your limiting thoughts away, or you know um uh stopping the behaviors of systems and humans, right? The humans are going to do what they're going to do. There is free will on this planet. The only way higher dimensional beings can interfere, literally physically interfere and pull things off the planet or stop things from happening, is if the physical planet is going to be physically destroyed. That is the only time that higher dimensional beings can actually come in and interfere. In the meantime, what they do is they assist. And so they will assist in clearing chemtrails. They will assist in blocking certain nuclear things that are happening on the planet. They will they have the ability to clean out, or to interfere sort of with specific things happening that can really be a detriment to humanity. But they can't stop a human from doing something. Does that make sense? Like, you can't, every human has free will. So what I was shown in Mount Shasta, when I'm talking about the person about the reptile, what I was shown in Mount Shasta was that there's a lot of higher dimensional beings that are clearing out the chemtrails right now. So I've never been nervous of chemtrails since they showed me that. It's like chemtrails are there, but they're being um, just as much as you see the chemtrails, you also don't see that they're being kind of cleared or filtered by these higher dimensional beings, which you're not going to see that in the sky, because you're not going to see higher dimensional beings because you're not vibrating at their frequency. But they are assisting us in numerous ways, and chemtrails are one. So when I see the chemtrails, I have no fears. I'm like, whatever. You know? No, there's a universal law, actually. Like, if you're on the planet, you can go and you can stop a human, right? But when you are in a higher dimensional frequency, you understand universal laws. One of the universal laws is free will. So you can stop humans from an egoic perspective, but from a higher dimensional perspective, you understand free will. So you follow the the laws of the quantum field. God knows what's in rain. There's all kinds of poisons right now on the planet. There's all kinds of poisons on the planet, but we also are high frequency light. I am doing a live on the Akashic Records, not this Thursday, but the following Thursday. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a lot of fun. Just like here in the chat, free will, 100%. All right, you guys, this was fun. What were you drinking? Water. Water. Yes, like my video, you guys. I'm being like, my YouTube channel is being blocked. It's very sad. If you can like the video, that would be awesome. And if you can subscribe to my channel, that would be awesome. I will be doing so many more teachings going forward. I'm going to be coming back onto YouTube in very fun new ways. So yay, looking forward to that. What kind of water? I just purchased about 6 months ago. I buy this water that comes from a natural spring up in Oregon. So I live in Northern California. And I forgot the name of the water company that bottles it. And they bring it to me in glass, 2.5 gallon glass jars. It's really good water, but I think you have to live in specific parts of California to get it. And it's actually not that expensive. I mean, it's more expensive than going and just getting like the filtered water that you can just fill up for like 50 cents. But I love knowing that it's coming straight from the mountain, and it comes to me in glass bottles, and it just tastes really, really good. If you're interested and you live in California, message me and I'll send you the name of the company. If you live in Oregon or California, you can get this water, I think. But I don't use a filter anymore. I don't have to, my water. And I'm sure if you look in your area where you live, there may be places, companies that actually they go and they bottle up the spring water and they deliver it to people's homes. So take a look in your area. Find spring. I love it. What do we look up? I would look up, I don't know, water delivery. I don't know. Google it, but you can find probably maybe like spring water delivery or something like that. Findaspring.com. Cool. Findaspring.com. There is a website that tells you where you can go fill your own. That's cool too. That's cool too. All right, you guys, I'm going to get going. Thanks for joining me. Like this video, hit the thumbs up, share it, and I'll see you next time I go live. Definitely Untangled at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, but pay attention to the YouTube channel because I'll be doing more and more of these. Thanks, Instagram, for joining as well. Love you guys. All right. Love you guys. See you soon. Be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with you and others.